Hey film fans, welcome to CinePro. Your ultimate hub for all movie recaps. From heartwarming classics to the latest blockbusters. The movie begins with a woman giving birth, surrounded by a group of witches trying to help her. They create a barrier around her to protect her from any harm. The woman senses that she is dying, and she calls out for her husband Drake, who is a sorcerer. She pleads for him to come, but by the time Drake arrives, she has already given birth and passed away. Overcome with rage, Drake nearly destroys the entire city and burns everything in his path. But the witches manage to protect the house. When he demands that the witches search for his son, they refuse, telling him that the child will stay with them until he grows up and can make his own decisions. At that point, the child is named Dampyr. Years pass, and in the Balkan region in the year 1992, we see a group of soldiers heading to an isolated village after receiving reports of a horrific massacre there. Their mission is to investigate what happened. The leader of the military squad, a man named Jack, arrives with his team to find a terrifying scene, with corpses scattered everywhere. Strangely, there is no blood on the bodies. They enter an old church and discover even more bodies piled up, all of them soldiers. It seems as though whatever killed them was monstrous, to the point that one of the soldiers, Stephen, shoots in fear. Jack reprimands him for firing without orders and instructs the rest of the soldiers to gather the bodies and clean up the area. Meanwhile, we are introduced to Harlan, known in the country as Dampyr, who wakes up from a recurring nightmare. His assistant, Yuri, asks him if he had the same dream again. Yuri then informs him about their next mission in a village called Janira. Harlan and Yuri are scammers who deceive people into believing they exorcise spirits and vampires from haunted villages. As soon as they arrive in the village, Yuri warns the locals about the presence of a demonic entity and introduces Harlan as the man who will rid them of the spirits they complain about. They then head to the cemetery, where Harlan performs a dramatic exorcism, pretending to banish the evil spirits. Afterward, he declares the village free of evil, and the people celebrate, giving them gifts and gratitude. At the same time, Jack is trying to contact his superiors, but there's no response. He orders his soldiers to stay alert and not sleep through the night. That night, two soldiers, Yanko and Beta, are sitting by the fire sharing their worries when they suddenly hear someone crying for help. Yanko dismisses it as an illusion, possibly the sound of an animal, but the cries persist until a girl appears out of the darkness, crying and asking for help. Beta decides to approach her despite Yanko's warnings, only to discover that she is no ordinary girl. She is a vampire. She attacks them suddenly, and Jack hears their screams, ordering the rest of the soldiers to assist them immediately. Realizing the sound is coming from Beta and Yanko's location, Jack divides the soldiers into groups to search for them. One group hears strange noises, and Tito decides to enter an abandoned building to investigate. Suddenly, a vampire attacks and bites him. His comrades rush to help him, only to find themselves overwhelmed as the number of vampires increases, leading to a dangerous battle. They retreat quickly, firing their weapons to fend off the vampires. Eventually, the vampires withdraw, but the remaining soldiers return, severely injured. Jack interrogates them about what happened, and one dying soldier reveals that bullets had no effect on the attackers, proving they were not human. One of the soldiers, Hazar, recalls the words of an old man who had warned them about demons. He becomes agitated, but Jack calms him down. Hazar then insists that they must find someone capable of defeating the vampires, referring to Dampyr. The next day, Harlan argues with Yuri over their scam, particularly about Yuri forcing him to decapitate a dead woman in the cemetery as part of their act. Harlan reluctantly agrees and heads to the cemetery, where he sees one of the witches who raised him but ignores her and continues on his way. Soon after, a group of soldiers apprehends Harlan, accusing him of being a fraud, and take him away. Harlan and Yuri learn that these soldiers are under the command of Jack, who wants to speak with them. The soldiers refuse to answer any of Harlan's questions and remain silent. Upon arrival, Harlan is brought to Jack, who begins discussing the ongoing war and their battle against unnatural creatures. Jack questions Harlan about his work, calling him a renowned vampire hunter. Jack then asks if Harlan truly knows how to kill vampires. Harlan admits that he is a fraud and that vampires don't exist, claiming that people are deceiving themselves. This angers Jack, who beats him and forces him to face the pile of dead bodies, challenging him to see for himself whether vampires are real. He hands Harlan a gun, and tells him to uncover the truth about vampires. At this moment, Hazar tells Jack that he once lived in the same village as Harlan, where Harlan was known as the son of the devil. Hazar explains that Harlan hasn't aged or changed since he first saw him. Harlan then wanders through the village and, at night, enters an abandoned church previously explored by the soldiers. Inside, he encounters the same vampire girl who attacked and killed the soldiers. She pleads for his help and approaches him fearfully, but when she tries to embrace him, she pushed him away when she knew that he is not an ordinary human being, and she was afraid of him at that moment and said to him, "Who are you?" He ran out of the church, terrified. Suddenly, there was a larger group of vampires in front of him, and he did not find a solution except to shoot them with the gun he had. At that moment, the sound reached Yuri, his friend, who tried to go and help him, but Jack stopped him. When Harlan ran out of bullets, suddenly one of the vampires attacked him. At that moment, he tried to repel the attack, and when he touched the vampire's hand, it was burned. At that moment, the girl came out and told them that this is not a human, and one of them came and hit him, and his hand was also burned, and anyone who touched him got burned. The soldiers started hearing their voices, and suddenly the vampires attacked them from the windows and attacked the soldiers. Jack tried to shoot them, but of course, it did not wipe them out or have any effect. One of the vampires came to grab Harlan by the neck and found himself burning. At that moment, Harlan put his hand on his neck. The fire caught him, and the rest of the vampires were very scared. They knew that Harlan was demonic, as they say, and decided to withdraw quickly, and they were the ones who were afraid of him. The vampire lord, Gorka, orders the girl to stay while the others retreat. The next day, the soldiers search the streets for any trace of the vampires. When Yuri learns that Harlan is alive, he runs to embrace him out of fear for his safety. Meanwhile, Jack visits the church where the remaining vampire girl is hiding. The soldiers want to leave the area, knowing they won't survive the mission. Jack questions Harlan about what happened and orders the soldiers to search the buildings, instructing them to return to the same location. Izrini instructing them to return to the same location. During this time, Stephen points his weapon at Jack, accusing him of sacrificing them as bait for the vampires. A fight breaks out among the soldiers, with some turning against each other. Harlan urges Yuri to leave with the soldiers, warning him that staying would put him in danger. However, Yuri refuses to leave Harlan behind. Harlan insists, telling the soldiers to take Yuri by force and ensure his safety. "I have a mission and I haven't finished it yet. Only Jack and Harleen are left." The soldiers told Jack to come back with them because of his son. He told them that he is not a coward and won't run away. The soldiers left and locked the church door behind them with the girl. Harleen said to Jack, "So we're sitting here and you don't have a plan?" At that moment, the girl said to them, "Surely he did this to you and didn't let anyone recognize you in order to protect you. Because the lords of the night, when you are born, they kill you immediately, because you are a threat to them and their followers, just like you killed some of us for them. And now he knows who you are." He said, "And what does that mean?" She said, "It means that he is ready to do anything to kill you." We return to the soldiers, and they are walking and enter the road. They find fog covering the vision, and they cannot see anything. They stop the cars and get out. Suddenly, they find Eureka in front of them, and with a single whisper, he dies. 4, 5, and everyone was running away from him, and one of them stopped and shot him. After that, we went to Sela, and she felt Jorah, and also Vampire fell and was affected. He felt what was happening to the soldiers, and Hazar told Yuri to run away quickly. But at that time, Dampyr told them, "Jorika took Yuri and took the soldiers, and I was wrong to let them go." Dampyr told Sela, "My religion is with him." Jack told her, "I can't believe you'll help us." She told him, "I'll help you because no one can kill him except Dampyr, and if he dies, I'll be free." And here, Jack told Harleen, "Don't believe this. She's also one of them, and she might attack us at the first opportunity." He told him, "Don't be afraid because she knows that I can kill her." She told them, "Let's go." They got into the car and drove off, but Sela was hiding herself completely from the sun, and Harleen was in the car, and his eyes fell asleep. He still had the same dreams, and Jack told him, "What's wrong?" He told him, "I always have nightmares." Harlan was wounded quickly, and Sela said to him, "You are like us." He said to her, "I trust you, but Jack is worried from you." We see the commander of the soldiers tied with a chain near the Night Lord, and he was holding a vampire. And the Night Lord said to him, "How do you feel when you are going to die now? Because I do not know the feeling of death, but I see it in it now. I have killed many kings and heroes to satisfy my bloodlust and turned him into a vampire like the one he has." We return to Jack, and he says to them, We are going to find the evil that people are running away from. And on our way, Sela said to them, "At night, you will find many followers." Jack said to him, "What are you thinking about?" He found that he brought many bullets and hurt his hand and drowned them in his blood. He then prepared for the vampires who will appear at night. Sela said to them, "I also want a gun like you." But Jack does not believe her. She said to him, "If I wanted to kill you, you would have been dead long ago." She choked him and said to him, "I am fed up with you." Harleen told her to take it down, and Jack put the gun on her and said to her, "Come on, let's try your idea." She told him, "Hit me. I'm already suffering, and he wants you to serve me and kill me." After that, Harleen gave her the razor that hurt his hand and said to her, "Be careful because my blood on it." And they walked to the hideout Jorika. While they were walking, an explosion happened, and they said to her, "You set up a trap for us." She told them, "He knew that you were going to him and also sensed you." After that, she said, "They are here." And indeed, a few people jumped in front of them, and most of them were soldiers after Jorika turned them, and they were shooting them. But they hid and were shooting them with the bullets in his blood and burning them. And with that, Harleen's idea succeeded, and Hazar started hitting Jack with Stephen. Harleen fell and said to him, "The Lord of the Night wants you." Harleen grabbed him and touched his face and burned him, and Jack was there. A soldier was going to kill him. He took out a gun and hit him and burned him, and we see Sela holding a gun and crying and saying to them, "He is making me do this." And Harlan stood in front of her and said to her, "Don't obey him." She said to him, "You don't know his power and control over us. At that moment, you tell him to kill me, and when he refused, she went and killed him." Jack was treating him, and we see that when Sela found a girl screaming because the vampire came out, she went to her and stabbed him with a razor and burned him. At that time, Jorika came to her and said to her, "You grew up and rebelled against me, and you were able to do it." She couldn't stab him with the razor, but she told him, "Dampyr will kill you." He told her, "No, I am the one who will kill him because I was supposed to kill him a long time ago." And Harlan got better and went to Jack. He found him filling bottles with the blood he had bled. Jack saw the wound and disappeared. After that, they went to Jorika. He grabbed Jack and hung him on one side and hung Sela on the other side. He sent Stefan to torture them and burned Sela with fire. He went to Jack and told him, "I basically hate you because you are committed to the rules and honorable." And he dug his claws into his stomach, and a stream of water jumped and cut the chain and wrapped it around his neck and strangled him and hung him up. And Jack set him on fire and went to Sela, gave her an arm to bite, and we went to Dampyr's blood while he was looking for Yuri and calling for Jorika. And when Jorika arrived, he said to him, "I was waiting for you." And when he hit him with the bullets in his blood, he started to separate and get married, running to him. But Jorika stopped him with his strength and started hitting and bewitching him. And he said to him, "I know who you are and who my son is, and we were supposed to die as you were born. I don't know why we left you all this time." He said to him, "I expelled your father a long time ago, and I will kill you now because you are of his blood." He threw right and left, raising his strength and strangling him. After that, he threw him to the ground and said to him, "Wait, don't die. There is someone who wants to say goodbye to you." Yuri came out, transformed, and said to Dampyr, "I knew you would come back for me, but you came late and jumped so he could bite him." Then Harlan didn't want to kill him, but Yuri saw Harlan's death and said to him, "Sorry, my friend. I am carrying out the orders of the Night Lord, and I didn't want to hurt you. Please save me." And when Dampyr grabbed him, he burned and died. Dampyr ran to him but threw him on the ground. Then Jack and Sela came and threw them against the wall and locked them up and said to them, "You will stay like this." At that time, the 3 witches who raised him appeared, and those who prevented his father from taking him and told him, "The time of your choice has come." And his father was standing and saying to him, "Come to me," and gave him a power from his power, which is the same power as Jorika's power. After that, his eye turned red, and he stood up, and whenever Jorika sent him a power from him, he repelled it, and it no longer affected him. Then he turned to his real form, and Dampyr started fighting hard, and a big battle started between them. And Dampyr jumped over him, choking him to death, and he said to him, "You killed many people, and you must die." After that, they went down to Sela and Jack, and they all walked and went to a book in which there was a picture of his father flipping through it. And he knew that there are many like Jorika and like his father, and they pledged that they would become a team and eliminate the Lords of the Night anywhere. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all new updates. See you in the next video. Goodbye.